Hello and welcome. In today's video, we are going to produce a 3D printed part. This tutorial will show you how accessible 3D printing is, and that with only a small amount of effort, you can be printing projects limited only by your imagination. Our demo project for this tutorial is a spacer shim used for installing vinyl click flooring. Let's begin by discussing the 3D printing workflow, or the steps to go from an idea to an object that you can hold in your hand. For this tutorial, we'll be using the software and hardware that I use. However, there are many choices available, so take the time to find what will best serve your needs. There will be links to additional resources in the description. There are 3 steps. The first step is obtaining a 3D model of the object that you want to print. You can either model it yourself or download it from a repository such as Thingiverse or PrusaPrinters. For today's demo, we will be doing the modeling from scratch using Autodesk Fusion 360, which is a modeler tailored to mechanical design. Once you have a model, the second step is to slice it. Slicing is converting the model's geometry into the instructions that the 3D printer will use to produce the object. We will be using PrusaSlicer for this demo. The last step is printing the object. We will be using a Prusa i3 Mark III's printer for our demo. Now that we have an overview of the process, let's begin. Okay, here we are in Fusion 360 to draw our part. So I have it defaultly set up to inches. You can use whichever units you will find more comfortable in by going up to Document Settings and then selecting your units. So with that, let's get started. So begin by creating a sketch in the XY plane. And then once we're in this position, we're going to create a rectangle. So press R and then click at the origin point and then drag it out. Now we'll define the dimensions as 2.25 by 1.5. Then press enter. Now we have a rectangle. Next, we're going to work on putting a finger hole in to make it easier to retrieve the shim. So press L for line, and then press X to make it a construction feature, and then find the center or midpoint of this line segment up here, which shows up when the little triangle appears, and then draw it straight across. Turn construction off by pressing X, and now we're going to draw a circle. So press C, click on that line, and then drag the circle out. We want our circle to be 0.875 in diameter, or 7/8 of an inch. So type that in, press enter, and now we're going to place that circle. So after you complete it, press D for dimension and select the middle of the circle and this bottom edge. And then drag out the dimension, and we're going to set it as 1.5, so 1.5. Press enter. All right, that's our first sketch done. So click Finish Sketch. Perfect. Now let's extrude it into 3 dimensions. So press E, click on this face here, and we want this shim to be 3/8 of an inch, which is 0.375, and then press enter, and now it's 3D. Next, just to make it a bit more appealing, we'll fill out the top corners, so press F, select this edge right here, and then we're going to orbit around the part by holding Shift, and then clicking the middle mouse wheel to orbit the part. We'll select this other corner here, and we will make the fillet radius 0.75, sorry, which will round over the edge or the top nicely. All right, now we've got one more thing to do, and then this part will be ready to export. Let's put some text on it to show you what the thickness is. So click Create Sketch again and select this top face. Now we're going to make a little layout line here, so press L and then X to make a construction and work from this edge here across to the other side. I want this line to come up and touch the bottom of this circle that we made previously. So click on the tangent constraint and then click the line and then the circle. Perfect. Now let's add the text. So turn construction off by pressing X, create text, and click on this corner here, and then go down to the bottom right corner. And now we'll have a text box. So we want this to say 3/8 inches. And make sure that it's aligned center and aligned in the middle, and that you have a font that you're happy with. That looks about right. So click OK. And we can finish that sketch. And now we have the part almost done. Just one last thing to do. So we'll extrude that text down into the part so that it will show up when we 3D print it. So click E or press E again, select the text, and then minus 0.125. We'll put it down an eighth of an inch, which should be about right, and press enter. So there is our finished model. So next we will save it, and let's give it a simple name, shim, save it. And now we're going to export this geometry so that we can slice it and get it ready for 3D printing. So click on bodies, and then find the body that we just drew, right click, save as STL. Default settings should be good, so click OK, and then we'll save it. I already had one here, so we'll overwrite that, shim.stl. Perfect. Alright, we're done in Fusion. Now let's switch over to PrusaSlicer to slice this. So bring that up, and we will go File, Import STL Imperial Units, and then find that file that we just created, open it. Now because we drew it in the XY plane, it should place it right in the middle of the work zone space, so should be good. And for this job, we'll just set it to 0.2 millimeters speed for print settings, and we're going to use PLA, so just generic PLA. Happy with all of that. Click Slice Now, and then click over here to export the G code to the SD card for the 3D printer, which I have in the computer. The default title should work good, so we'll save that. And that's all it takes to get ready to 3D print this work. So we will take this SD card over to the 3D printer and get it printing. Here's the 3D printer's info or status screen. Insert the SD card into the printer's SD card slot, and it will list the card's contents. Select the file that you exported from PrusaSlicer. The printer will then begin warming up, and when it is ready, it'll start printing the project. That is the process from start to finish of 3D printing your first part. I hope you're starting to think of all the cool things that you've always wanted to make. 3D printing is a potent and versatile skill and is limited only by your imagination. I often use it to create specific tools like the flooring shim that we just created. I also find it very valuable for rapidly prototyping components for machinery that I am building before manufacturing the actual metal parts. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll wrap it up with a few more 3D printed projects from the internet to give you more ideas. Good luck with your projects.